talk about the other side of the coin. So stacks that are too expensive in the early rounds to invest in. So let's start with you, Chris. Like, which stacks are you kind of shying away from early rounds because they're too expensive?
I have been unable to do the Diggs Allen, like the primary Bill stack. Sure. I have plenty of like just mini correlations with that Buffalo Cincinnati game because I do have Diggs on a number of rosters. But like I was talking earlier, you feel like you're locked into that stack. At least some folks feel like they're locked into that stack the moment that they take Stephon Diggs, and I'm trying to at least get away from doing that. And I can just still get that week 17 correlation without having to force myself into drafting Josh Allen at cost. So it's just been too expensive for me to do. I would rather just wind up grabbing, like I mentioned earlier, Tyler Boyd later, Chris Evans later. If I want to also like pair Diggs with Devin Singletary as well, like Devin Singletary, James Cook, or whomever, I can, mix and match or like piece together enough players like from that game in order to have enough exposure to be happy with it without also having to take Josh Allen.
I like that. The Josh Allen is awfully expensive. As much as we like him, it makes sense to kind of shy away. And then you're banking on two of your first 3 picks to be Bills, which is interesting, but that is expensive. It's very
I don't want to slander. I mean, TJ probably already has me muted anyway, so I don't want to slander Josh Allen, but it's just it does come at a heavy cost though.
It does, absolutely. Jen, what's an early round stack that's not worth the price of admission to you?
Well, I don't know if this really counts as early round because I know that he's not necessarily 1 through 5. I think he's a 6 rounder, but the Chase Burrow, like, I just don't know that it's a little pricey for me because Chase is insanely, and Higgins is even pretty high. I mean, they're both, rounds 1 and 2, and then all of a sudden, in round 6, you have Burrow, and he may even sneak up to a 5th rounder by the end of the season, or by the end of draft season, depending on what happens. So, I mean, it's not like it's super duper pricey, but it's just one that I don't seem to kind of do. Like, it just doesn't, I don't end up going there. I think I kind of skip, I think, that tier of quarterbacks in general, if that makes sense. Like, I don't.
Sure.
I mean, I'm either going to get, Herbert or Kyler or Lamar, and then I kind of wait to go to like Russ or Tom Brady or, I kind of skip the Burrow. I don't know. I guess it's just him because I've taken Hurts and I've taken, so I guess it's just Burrow. And I have nothing against him as a real life or fantasy quarterback. I just don't find myself in a position to take him, I guess.
Higgins in the second, which is what I'm seeing. Higgins in the second. I'm kind of with you, Jen. We talked last week about Elijah Moore in the 6th. You're drafting him at his ceiling. Like you're drafting him saying he's going to produce at the ceiling. Higgins, and I love Tee Higgins. I love him as a player. I wish the Dolphins had him. I love Tee Higgins, but I feel like Tee Higgins in the second is drafting him at his ceiling. Like you're drafting him hoping for the maximum output for him. Do you feel the same way, Jen, or am I being too hard on it?
No, I mean, I've done it. I've taken him, and I probably continue to. But when you actually sit down and think about it, like you're saying, I mean, you're taking a team's wide receiver 2 in the 2nd round when there's a lot of wide receiver 1s with a lot of volume that are still there, and it's hard to kind of justify that. But I've done it. I just, like you said, I think it's a little scary, and it's a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you're investing a lot in someone that is not. He's the second guy on a team where I don't know. Like you said,
yeah, I've seen him go above Devontae. I've seen him go above Devontae.
Oh wow, I have not seen that.
Because every once in a while I'll see Devontae Adams slide to the mid-second. I'll see that happen sometimes.
Not if I'm in there, but yeah.
So, Chris, am I crazy? Just the resident Bengals fan have to ask.
It's not. I'll just say that it's not outlandish to think that Tee Higgins could have a better year. Just last year, if you look at their total season output, Jamar Chase, 24.2% target share, if I remember correctly, and then Tee Higgins had a 23.9% target share. So they weren't that far off, and that's in total target share. And remember, there were a number of weeks where Tee Higgins essentially just disappeared from the offense. Yep. I think he missed a game, if I remember. Either way, but the splits, like once the Bengals offense actually started being like more pass heavy, Tee Higgins actually did wind up out targeting Jamar Chase like down the stretch last year. So
interesting.
It's not outlandish to think that Jamar Chase, let's say, takes a step back is probably like too extreme of a term, but let's just say
normalizes.
There we go. Thank you. That's a better term for what I'm saying. So it's like there's a chance that Jamar Chase doesn't hit his ceiling. So that allows more work for Tee Higgins in order to be, because they also were almost matched in terms of air yard share as well. So it's not, so I'm just saying, like the bull case for Tee Higgins is that Jamar Chase just has the, let's say, the sophomore slump, but he's still a wide receiver 1. But instead of him being the wide receiver 2 as he's being drafted, he's like, let's say, the wide receiver 8 or 9. But then Tee Higgins, who's being drafted as, let's say, the wide receiver 6, he then bumps up to the wide receiver 3 or 4 just because the production now tilts his way this season. It's possible. I'll just say that. Like the red zone targets, like all the opportunity, air yard share, all that is there for Tee Higgins in order to overtake Jamar Chase just for this season. It's not to say that Jamar Chase is bad. It's just that offense has clearly supported 2 wide receivers. And we could just see this season that the order of those wide receivers just flips, and it's Higgins Chase instead of Chase Higgins.
Interesting. No, it's one of those things in the second round that always strikes me. I'm not buying the Chiefs stack. It's just too expensive. Kelsey, late first, early second still, and then Mahomes in the third if he lasts that long. I'm not buying that. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I don't want to take him in the running back dead zone. There's other targets there that I'd rather take. And then all those receivers are creeping up in ADP too. It's just not that I won't have any Chiefs on my roster, but it's not going to be a stack that I target heavily because of that. Chris, are you buying that? Do you have any? I know you have Kelsey, but do you have any like Mahomes? Do you have any of the big Chief stacks?
Surprisingly, no. And after I got done running through 20 puppies on underdog, I looked through and I was like, I had not drafted Patrick Mahomes, not a once.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have like plenty of other Chiefs around him. I don't think I've drafted Sky Moore or Justin Ross. I have a little bit of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but no Patrick Mahomes. I've just found myself taking either other quarterbacks in that range, wide receivers or running backs to fill out the core positions. But it's just, I agree with you. It's funny, though, last year when essentially the Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes stack was like the holy grail of best ball leagues, of people trying to create that stack. And now, while Travis Kelce's price has remained essentially static this year, Mahomes is much cheaper. And people still don't want to do it. So it's just funny how the tables have turned for the Chiefs at this point, where I'm more likely to stack Denver and then grab KC bringbacks like later on versus trying to stack KC and then get like any of the Denver bringbacks later.